He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, back with you after a Caribbean vacation. Certainly had a great time down there at Aruba, Curacao, and Grand Turk. Man, I love going on cruises. That's kind of my new thing. And my 40-year-old age in life, I am a cruise guy and certainly enjoy doing that. But glad to be back with you. Obviously, a lot transpired while I was gone. OTAs right back in the fold today. I was down at the Miller Electric Center taking in today's OTA practice. Had the opportunity to speak with Devin Duvernay, the new Jaguar kickoff return man, punt return man, and I think is going to be a factor on the offense a little bit. So that conversation I had with Devin Duvernay comes up in just a little bit. We got a great guest lineup as we're back with you here on a Tuesday. Former Jaguar defensive back Demetrius McCray will stop by the program. Demetrius actually has a defensive back clinic that he's going to be running over the next 8 weeks over in the Bay Meadows area we'll tell you about. But by and large, we're also going to get Demetrius' thoughts on the Jaguars, on the defense, the new scheme under Ryan Nielsen, and everything that has transpired this offseason. So former Jaguar DB Demetrius McCray comes up in the 9 o'clock hour. And believe it or not, we are now inside of 8 weeks away from Jaguar training camp. What does that mean on Hacker After Dark? Well, it's funny you ask. 8 weeks, 8 divisions in the National Football League. That's right. That begins tonight. We will hit all 32 over the next 8 weeks. This week, it's the AFC East. We will make stops in Miami, in New York, in Foxborough. Those are later in the week. Tonight, we begin with the Buffalo Bills, and we will hit every team in the AFC East this week, every team in the NFC East next week, so on and so forth, leading up to the Jaguar report day for training camp. So our march of all 32 NFL teams begins tonight. My buddy Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio and the Bills Radio Network, as we look back on the Bills offseason and look ahead to their 2024 campaign. So there is a ton to do. We're glad you're with us. Let me welcome in a stranger. It's been 12 long days, the blood, the sweat, and the tears of 12 days without Dylan Denmark was almost too much to bear. Denmark, I almost didn't recognize you, man. I trust your last 12 days have been good for you.
Yeah, it's been all right. It definitely felt weird having to come back in at 8 o'clock. It's been, like, a really long time since I had to do that, but it's good to be back. I like having normalcy, man.
Yeah, I like it, too. Imagine my thoughts coming in tonight when I was usually getting half-hammered on the Carnival Vista at about 8 o'clock and usually in the casino area of that ship. By the way, a lot of Jacksonville people on that ship. A lot of listeners to 1010XL. As you know, Denmark, I am all about the shameless self-promotion.
Oh, yeah, company guy.
So I had some 1010XL gear on that ship. I, of course, had the Hacker gear on that ship, and there was quite a few people from Northeast Florida that stopped by and exchanged pleasantries with me, so that was certainly nice and fruitful as I was gone for that 8-day cruise. But like I said, glad to be back with you. We got a lot to do. We got a couple of big deals of the night that we'll get into right now, because every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do give you a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
2 big deals of the night. One far superior to the other, and I will wait and do that in just a moment. The first big deal of the night is Jaguar OTAs down at the Miller Electric Center. As I mentioned, my conversation with Devin Duvernay comes up in about 10 minutes or so. Look, it's a late May practice with no helmets and no pads. I mean, it is what it is. It's the reality of the situation, but it's what we go on right now. And you just kind of look at things, right? You look at tendencies. And I will tell you this. I have a lot of questions about the defensive back room. I have a lot of questions about corner on this Jaguar football team. But I liked what I saw today from a lot of different guys. I like the competition that's out there. I think there's going to be some battles at that corner position behind Tyson Campbell, behind Ronald Darby. I mean, keep in mind, you got 6 draft picks at the corner position over the last 3 years, right? Christian Braswell, Eric Howlett, Monteric Brown, Gregory Jr., and then, of course, this year with Jarian Jones and DeAndre Prince. You got a lot of hungry guys, young, hungry guys looking to make roster spots on that Jaguar defense and that Jaguar secondary. I'm very interested to see what happens. Now, could they bring in a veteran corner? Perhaps. Do I think they need to bring in a veteran corner? Yeah, I still probably would. But truthfully, I feel a little bit better now than I did 10 hours ago before I went out to practice. Now, it was one day, right? One day. And we can't go back out there again until next Monday, I believe, or next Tuesday. So I'll get another look at him again. But I thought the corner position, the defensive back position, had a good day. Brian Thomas, look, I know there's a video making the rounds on social media of a nice ball from Trevor Lawrence. That's what you like to see. You know, we were talking out there today. If you don't look good in OTAs, brother, you got problems. Because you're mainly competing against air. There's not a lot of one-on-one battles. There's no pads. There's no helmet. So you want to look good. If you don't look good today, when are you going to look good? But to Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas's credit, they did look good. Evan Ingram, I know there's another video out there making the rounds of a one-handed grab. I thought Gabe Davis had a great reaction to that catch on the sideline. Boy, Evan Ingram's so smooth, man. So smooth. That guy, when all is said and done, may go down as the best tight end in Jaguar history. I guess right now it would be Mercedes Lewis, right, just because of longevity. And Ingram's only coming into year number 3 that he'll be here in Jacksonville. But by the time that guy's done here, he's probably going to be known as the best tight end in Jaguar history. Because I think he's going to have another gigantic year. You put him along with Christian Kirk, along with Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas, obviously Travis Etienne. There's a lot of weapons, man. A lot of weapons. You know, I thought the linebacker position stood out today a little bit. It's nice to see Ventrell Miller back out there, 9 months removed from an Achilles. You all of a sudden add him into the mix with Chad Muma, with Devin Lloyd, with Foye Oluwakin. And you got some nice competition at linebacker. A lot of names, right? A lot of high draft picks. Muma was a 3rd rounder, Miller's a 4th rounder, Lloyd's a 1st rounder, and Oluwakin's a high-priced free agent. They got a lot invested at linebacker. You'd like to see that position play a little better this year, and I thought those guys, for what we could see today, looked pretty good. Offensive line, I took a good look at Mitch Morse, Brandon Sheriff. Well, they got some major facial hair on the offensive line. They got some grizzly guys. I kind of like that. Gives the offensive line a little character. A lot of facial hair, a lot of grizzly beards. Get after it. And the offensive line needs to get after it. That was a weak point last year, no question. Cam Robinson, Ezra Cleveland, Mitch Morse, Brandon Sheriff, Anton Harrison. Presumably your starting 5. Where does Luke Fortner factor in? Where does Walker Little factor in? What about Cooper Hodges? What about Blake Hance, Tyler Shatley, Javon Foster, the 4th rounder out of Missouri? There'll be a lot of competition on the line. That's the key word here. I've said it probably 3 or 4 times in the first 10 minutes. Competition. There's a lot of competition on this Jaguar roster. You know, I remember last year, because they ran it back, right? Last year's roster was almost identical to the 22 roster. They had 21 of 22 starters returning. The only difference was Jawan Taylor was gone and Anton Harrison was in. Remember, Calvin Ridley was not on the team in 22. So last year at this time, there wasn't a lot of thought about battles for roster spots. There wasn't a lot of thought about battles for playing time. You kind of knew who your guys were. And at the time, we thought that was okay because those guys had just went to the divisional round of the playoffs and battled Kansas City to a 7-point game. Turns out it did not work out, and obviously we know what happened last year. But the roster has had massive turnover. Massive. I don't have the exact number, but of the 90 guys on the roster right now, what do you think? 30, 35 of them are probably new? You got 10 or 11 free agents. You drafted 9 guys, including the undrafted free agents, or another dozen or so. So you're probably talking 30 to 35 new guys from the 90-man roster that were not here. I think when all is said and done, when you get your 53-man roster in order in September, I bet you're looking between 15 and 20 new players on that 53-man roster. That's going to be like a 40% turnover of the roster. And what I'm getting to by saying all that is that word again, competition. I think there's going to be much more competition, not only for backup spots to make the 53. I think you're looking at some pretty decent competition for some starting spots in the starting 22, which is something that we did not have last year when the Jaguars decided to do what they ultimately did and basically run it back. So a lot more on the Jaguars. Again, my conversation with Devin Duvernay comes up in less than 10 minutes. Friday, I'm in the middle of the Caribbean on a vacation, having a great time, and I mentioned a lot of folks from Jacksonville were on the ship. And one of the folks from Jacksonville came up to me. I'd been talking to him earlier. His name was Rick. Been talking to him earlier in the cruise, and he had internet access because, again, we're in the middle of the ocean. And he let me know about the passing of David Lamb. And I know I'm probably the last person that gets to react to this. I was not here on Friday, and obviously I'm on at the end of the day today. But if you'll just give me a couple of moments here to talk about who we lovingly called Lamb Chops. I started on AM 930 on August 20th, 2002. And I interned for Mike Dempsey at the time. Dempsey was doing the afternoon show. The morning host was David Lamb, Lamb at Large with Joe Cowart. And I grew up listening to David Lamb. Remember, it was 9:30 wins with Lamb at Large. And that was my childhood, man, was David Lamb and Joe Cowart. And then when I got to meet David Lamb for the first time in 2002, man, that was it for me. This is a guy I'd been listening to on the radio for years. Got to meet him. David Lamb was an absolutely awesome human being. My first day as an intern, he didn't know me from Adam. And he actually sat down, talked to me, was interested, you know. I didn't get to see him as much at 9:30 as I would have liked because he was the morning guy, and I didn't come on until the afternoon show with Dempsey. So usually by the time I got there, Lamb was long gone on the golf course. But the first time I met David Lamb wasn't even when I was working at sports radio. I was working at the movie theater on Phillips Highway. And I'll never forget it, Denmark. David Lamb used to love to go to the movies after his shows. And it was the movie Exit Wounds with Steven Seagal. Just an awful movie. Terrible. DMX was in it, and Steven Seagal and Tom Arnold. Just an awful movie. And I remember Lamb came to see it, and I knew who he was, obviously. I was 17 at the time, senior at Wolfson High School, and I just started talking sports with David Lamb. And then the fact that I got to meet him on a personal level in 2002 when I got to 9:30 was absolutely awesome. And when I heard that he had passed away on Friday, man, that was a tough one. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to see David all that much, really, since the pandemic. I know he'd been in bad health recently. So it had been a good couple of years since I spent a lot of time with him. I talked to him periodically. But the guy from the Santa Lamb projects that he did to make sure children here in Northeast Florida who would not have had a Christmas holiday otherwise got to experience a Christmas holiday, to all the work he did. I mean, he was Uncle Dave. He was Lamb Chops. He was the guru, blabbermouth, whatever you wanted to call him. He was all of it into one. He taught me so much, both on air and off air. And I never knew Jay Solomon. Jay Solomon was gone before I really got into sports radio. And I really didn't know Greg Larson all that well. I talked to him a few times briefly, but those were the two guys I never really got to meet. But Frank Frangie and David Lamb are the other two guys, really, that were kind of the foundational pieces of sports radio in Northeast Florida, going back to the early 90s and even a little bit before that. And obviously, Frank, I'm good friends with him. Got to see him today, and that's awesome. But David Lamb was the other one. And the fact that I got to know him, I got to have a handful of beers with him over the years, talk sports with a guy that I used to idolize growing up, talk about life. You know, he knew my wife, he knew my son. That one stung. There are certain ones that just sting when you hear about them, and that one stung on Friday. So, Lamb Chops, I'm going to miss you, man. Obviously, I know a lot of people have had that sentiment, but, man, you were a good one, brother. And the show will go on. I know you want us to talk sports, and we will continue to do that here on Hacker After Dark. But David Lamb, at the age of 78, one of the good ones, one of the really, really good ones gone. And certainly prayers go out to everybody in David's family, and we certainly wish them the best moving forward. Not an easy transition, but we're here to talk sports, and that's what we will do on a Tuesday evening in the city of Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark. Earlier today, down at Jaguar OTAs, I had the opportunity to catch up with Devin Duvernay. That conversation comes up next here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. It's Hacker After Dark.
The most Gators.
Touchdown, Gators!
The most Jaguars.
That's a touchdown for Jacksonville.
1010XL, radio home of the Gators and Jags.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Hacker here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. I'll tell you a funny story. So I'm on the cruise, right, in the middle of the Caribbean. And I had people from Jacksonville that have listened to the show, listened to my thoughts on Awaken 180, and they're asking me about it. Hacker, how do you do it? What's the story? What's going on with Awaken 180? And I told all of them, make the call. If you want to lose weight, if you feel it's time to lose weight for yourself, for your family, simply make the call. 844-346-1800. 844-346-1800. Or check them out online, awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com. It's changed my life. 63 pounds is what I'm down since February 20th. 63. I went on the cruise. I had to get a new bathing suit. I had to get new shirts. I had to get new pants. None of them fit. I've lost so much weight, I have to get a brand new wardrobe. It's all thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If you're thinking about it, trust me, make the call, Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing has the highest wind and impact ratings available? If you want a stronger roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Learn more at primeroofingfl.com. That's primeroofingfl.com.
This is Frank Frangie. Join Dan Hickett and me for All Things Gators, our podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Monday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gators Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Make every day brighter, every laugh louder, and every moment memorable at the YMCA. More than just the gym, the Y is a community where you can dive into fun, fitness, family time, and make new friends all under one roof. With complimentary youth sports, childcare while you work out, summer camp savings, and more, the Y is the best value for families. Join the Y today and grow stronger together with amazing summer membership savings for a limited time. Find details at fcymca.org.
Clearwater. John, I can't even mow my side yard. It's so soggy. Man, my builder sucks. Brent, calm down. This is a common problem in neighborhoods where houses are built too close together. You need gutters and a properly installed French drain that will soak up subsurface water. We can completely dry it up. So I can take my builder off my speed dial now, huh? Yeah, we got you, buddy. Let that builder bitterness go.
Clearwater irrigation and drainage too.
Hey, David here with Royal Pest Services. Men, are you struggling in the bedroom? Do spiders and roaches have you scared? Visit RoyalPestServices.com and let us help you get that man card back. Guaranteed results on our first visit.
Looking for a new or used firearm? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach will get you locked and loaded. New firearms coming in weekly and always looking for used guns. No lines and no waiting. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
It's the coolest week to save during the summer fan sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Buy one fan, save 10%. Buy two, save 15%. Buy three or more and save 20% off all fans at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Showroom near the Avenues.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad to be back with you with Dylan Denmark, the hacker Ryan Green, Jaguar OTAs earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center. A lot of good work in. Most guys are here. Doug Peterson did say Cam Robinson, the only one that was not there because Cam has a newborn baby, right? A couple of weeks old. So spending some time with the family. Everybody else, I believe, was there. I did not see Travis Etienne out on the field. So I don't know where he was exactly, but that's just, again, he could have been out there and I didn't see him. I just didn't see him. But we did ask Doug if everybody was going to be there, and he did mention that Cam Robinson was the only one that was not there because, like I said, he does have a newborn baby. So a lot of good attendance. Obviously, these are voluntary workouts. The only mandatory part is minicamp, which comes up in 2 weeks, and then that's it. I mean, you realize they have OTAs this week, right? OTAs next week. Voluntary minicamp the week after. That's like June 10th, June 11th, and then that's it till training camp. They get 6 weeks off, roughly 5 or 6 weeks off, and then bam, right about July 26, July 27, it's go time because the preseason is August the 10th, that opener against Kansas City in the preseason. So It's going to get here quick, no question about it. After practice today, I had the opportunity to catch up with one of the newest Jacksonville Jaguars free agent signee, Devin Duvernay. Spent 4 years in Baltimore, was an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler for the Ravens from the kickoff return, punt return position. Had a chance to talk with Devin about a lot of things, including does he see more of a role in the offense for himself here in Jacksonville. Here's my conversation earlier today down at Jaguar OTA with Jaguar wide receiver Devin Duvernay.
All right, Jaguar OTA practice out here at the Miller Electric Center. We got Jaguar wide receiver, kick returner Devin Duvernay with us. Devin, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Happy to be here.
How was practice today?
It was good. It was good. Hot one, but, it was good. Enjoying everything, enjoying learning the guys, learning the plays, and, just getting acclimated.
It's one thing to have the meetings and stuff, but now that you're actually on the field, the fourth OTA, you being a veteran of this league, how valuable is this?
100%, especially like young guys, new guys coming in, very valuable. Learning the playbook, like I said, learning the guys, learning the coaches, learning how things are done is definitely very important, and definitely why I value this time of year.
And in that wide receiver room with you and Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, kind of the elder statesman, got a lot of newness in there. How valuable is this for that wide receiver room to kind of learn each other?
Exactly. Camaraderie, getting to know each other, spending time with each other, getting to know each other's personalities, how we are, how we play is super important. It's super important because, on the field stuff matters, but to take it to the next level, you got to, have chemistry off the field as well. So it's definitely big.
Let's talk about you for a little bit. I mean, obviously we'll get into the kick return game, All-Pro and Pro Bowler. You caught 70 passes in 2 years in Baltimore. You were a really good wide receiver at the University of Texas. I mean, are you looking here in Jacksonville to have the opportunity to do more on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, 100%. Just coming out, showing my skill set, showing, what I can do, and, getting back to, doing everything, kick returns, punt returns, catching the ball, going deep, screens, run game, all that. I'm excited to be a part of it.
And you obviously one of the most accomplished special teams players in the league, All-Pro, Pro Bowler. Your thoughts on the new kickoff rule? You got to be licking your chops, right, to be able to have another opportunity back there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it definitely is going to help out, the return game, get more returns because, it was kind of dying down over the past couple of years, but definitely get more returns. Excited about that, get more explosive plays and, help the team out in, more ways.
As we begin to wrap up, why Jacksonville? I know you had a bunch of suitors out there. What was it about this team, about this franchise that led you here?
Man, just the opportunity, really, the opportunity to come in here, play, get a chance to, continue doing special teams and then, get some burn on offense, was a big deal. So, I'm excited about it and, opportunity and, Florida, so.
Only your fifth year in the league, but coming from Baltimore, that franchise, that winning culture, what can you tell some of the young guys down here? Because Baltimore's kind of one of the teams, right? They seem to do it right year in and year out. People are going to be looking to you and Darby, who's there last year, to kind of lead a little bit. What are your thoughts there?
Man, I mean, you just got to stay with it. It's a process. You got to trust the process. You got to enjoy the hard work, enjoy the hot days, enjoy the the days where you don't feel like doing it, and just know the end goal. Just, the team just as a group has to fight for something and know what they're fighting for and, never give up. Because, I think that's what has made good teams good. Never giving up, playing for each other, playing together, and, being happy for one another.
As we say goodbye, Devin, let's find out about you a little bit personally. What are some of your interests off the field, man? When you're not kicking the ball or returning the ball to the end zone, what are you doing off the field?
Man, relaxing. Went fishing with some of the guys this past weekend, so that was pretty cool. That's probably a hobby I'll pick up. Guys are real into golf, trying to pick that up as well. But yeah, no, I would chill, relax, play the game, watch sports, enjoy my time off.
Finally, Texas in the Southeastern Conference, man. You excited about your alma mater joining the SEC?
Yeah, I am. We came a little short last year with the national championship, but now I'm excited about it. Excited to see what happens.
Devin, welcome to Jacksonville.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. Devin Duvernay here with us on Hacker After Dark. And Denmark, how about this for you? 106 for 1,386 and 9 touchdowns. You know what that is?
His stats on a kick return?
That was Devin Duvernay's receptions his senior year at Texas.
Dang.
106 catches, 1,386 yards, and 9 touchdowns. That was 2019, his senior year at Texas. Now, at Baltimore, he didn't do much year 1. Year 2, he had 30 catches. Year 3, 37 catches. And then last year, he became a non-factor because they brought in Beckham and other guys. But he did catch 67 balls in a 2-year span in Baltimore. My point in all that is, people talk about Jamal Agnew and replacing Agnew. Well, Duvernay replaces Agnew in the special teams game. He's one of the best returners. He was a Pro Bowler. He was an All-Pro. I think they're going to be fine in the return game with Duvernay. Duvernay is a wide receiver. Agnew was a defensive back, converted to a wide receiver. So when you're talking about the Jaguar wide receiver room, and you bring up Christian Kirk, and you bring up Gabe Davis, and you bring up Brian Thomas, certainly, those are the three, and with good reason. Those are obviously the three. I'm not so sure if Duvernay is not the fourth. I think right now, Duvernay or Parker Washington, Duvernay or Elijah Cooks, Duvernay or whomever, Duvernay is more accomplished. Look, you catch 106 passes, I don't care what level of football it is. And you do that at the University of Texas, your senior year, you can do some things on the offensive end. You catch 67 passes on a 2-year stretch in Baltimore, where you were thrust into being their wide receiver 1 for a couple of weeks in 2022, I guess, because of all the injuries they had. Duvernay was their number 1 target at wide receiver for about a month in 2022. We've talked so much about the return game, and that's why he was brought here. But don't be surprised if he's used a little more on offense than some people might think. Reverses, sweeps, screens, down the field, bombs. Very similar to Agnew, but a much, much, much more polished version of Agnew. Because, again, Agnew was a DB who converted to a wideout. Devin Duvernay has been a wide receiver his entire football career, dating back to his freshman year at Texas in 2016. You look at the position battles, and this is what I talked about earlier. There's going to be some good players that do not make the 53-man roster. They have 12 wide receivers, the Jaguars do. 12 with them right now. Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas, those are shoo-ins. Christian Kirk is a shoo-in. That's 3 spots gone. Parker Washington, Devin Duvernay, Elijah Cooks, Tim Jones, Seth Williams. Every one of those guys was either on the practice squad or on the active roster last year. And then you got 4 undrafted guys, David White, Joseph Skates, Brevin Easton, Joshua Cephas, who I've already deemed as my guy. Because I do like Cephas, and I think he has every chance to make this team. But take those guys out. Just give me Seth Williams, Tim Jones, Elijah Cooks is 3, Kirk is 4, Duvernay 5, Washington 6, Thomas 7, Gabe Davis 8. All of those guys were either here last year, on the practice squad or on the main roster, or free agent acquisitions in Gabe Davis's case and Duvernay's case, or obviously a first-round pick in Brian Thomas's case. And you're not keeping all 8. Odds are you're only going to keep 6 of those guys. So which 2 are in trouble? Seth Williams? Tim Jones? Elijah Cooks? Parker Washington? I think there's some debate there. And you really got that all over the board. Offensive line's another one. They have 16 offensive linemen with them right now. You know the 5 starters, right? Presumably Cam Robinson, Ezra Cleveland, Mitch Morse, Brandon Sheriff, Anton Harrison. Well, there's 5 of your spots gone. How many do you keep? 9? All right. Luke Fortner, is he going to be here? Probably. They love Cooper Hodges, or at least they did last year. Blake Hance, they re-signed. Walker Little, Tyler Shatley, Cole Van Lannen, Chandler Brewer, Javon Foster was a 4th-round pick, Darrell Williams. Again, all of those guys, either draft picks or guys that were at least on the practice squad last year. That's what I'm talking about. There is much, much more competition on this Jaguar roster right now than there was a year ago. They didn't do an overhaul of the roster. They didn't really do a lot. So there wasn't a lot of debate. You pretty much knew 90% of the 53-man roster by this point a year ago. You don't know that now. I just named you 12 offensive linemen that were minimum on the practice squad here last year. You're not going to keep all of them. I just named you 8 wide receivers that all presumably would be surprises if they got cut. Well, 1 or 2 of them are definitely getting cut. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens as we move along. Training camp, 8 weeks away. 8 weeks till Jaguar training camp. There are 8 divisions in the National Football League. Ah, yeah. It's time for our division previews. Every week here on Hacker After Dark, we will go team by team in a certain division to preview the season, review the offseason that has been. This week, it's all about the AFC East. We will make stops in Miami, in East Rutherford, in Foxborough. But that's later in the week. Tonight, we'll kick it off in Buffalo. My buddy Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio and the Bills Radio Network. What's it like in Buffalo right now? No Stephon Diggs, no Gabe Davis, no Mitch Morse, no Jordan Poyer. A ton of change for the Bills. But they got somebody they love up there. His name's Keon Coleman. We'll preview Buffalo as our AFC East preview kicks off tonight. That's next. Tuesday night, Hacker After Dark, here in the city of Jacksonville. Glad to be back with you. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
I think we're ready for a tournament.
We are so flipping good.
Attention, Googans. Come drive, drop, and dink with The Drill Friday, June 14th.
That's our first tournament.
At the Fruit Cove Recreation Club. Cash prizes, free swag, beginner's clinic, and Jeff E.T. and I in an exhibition match.
It looks so easy.
Go to thefruitcove.com and click on the 1010 flyer. To sign up your men's, women's, or mixed team, that's thefruitcove.com.
We are so good at pickleball.
Sponsored by good friends at Injury Care Centers and Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors.
Hacker here with an update. I'm now down 65 pounds in less than 3 months with Awaken 180. It's been incredible. You've seen it on social media. If not, take a look. I'm the guy with 65 less pounds around his midsection. Since I started, I had to get lower dose medication for both blood pressure and cholesterol. That meant a trip to the pharmacy. When I walked in, the pharmacist did a double take, the same way my doctor did. Didn't even recognize me. It's a pretty cool feeling, knowing I'm transforming into the new me. If I can do Awaken 180 and succeed, trust me, so can you. Imagine dropping pounds while still enjoying your favorite foods. With Awaken 180, you get to lose weight without giving up what you love. Are you ready to make the call to Awaken 180? Call right now, 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Or do what I did and check them out at awaken180weightloss.com. Start changing your life today with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Are you having constant issues with drains backing up? Have you wasted money on plumbers that can't resolve your problems? We're Duck Duck Rooter, and we have the solution. We'll come out to your home or business, identify your problem, and make the repairs once and for all. From visual camera inspections, hydrojetting, line replacements, our team of pros will get the job done right. Call now to schedule service and relax. 904-862-6769. Financing is available. DuckDuckRooter.com. A proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty. A proud partner of the Jaguars.
Enjoy the best burger in town while enjoying the best vodka in town. Ask for Brackish Vodka at Cruiser's Grill in Jacksonville Beach.
In sports, the grind outside the lines is what ultimately defines our success. Get the Amateur's Edge, powered by B3 Better, to learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
If you're a business owner and want to learn about federal, state, or local government contracts, plan to attend a free online webinar May 28th. The Florida Apex Accelerator, in partnership with UNF, provides expert guidance and consultations at no cost. The Apex Accelerator program can make selling to the government less complicated. Attend a free coffee and contracting webinar May 28th. Register at unf.edu/SBDC, then select Training and Event tab. International soccer returns this summer. Don't miss your chance to see teams from the biggest league in the world in Jacksonville as they compete for the Stateside Cup. Be there when Premier League clubs Wolves and West Ham take the pitch July 27th at Everbank Stadium, home of the Jaguars. With the series trophy on the line, competition will be fierce. Tickets on sale now for as low as $35 at statesidecup.com.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Hey, Glenn here with B&B Oil with Dylan from March Motor. Hey, Dylan, how does B&B Oil help you guys at the dealership?
If you have a dealership and don't want to worry about the hassle of credit cards or fuel vouchers floating around, have B&B Oil put a tank on your lot. It allows us to control who gets fuel and cuts out the worries of credit cards. And it helps us deliver the car faster. B&B Oil also meets our shop needs with lubricants as well. Call Glenn or check out the website, bb-oil.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us, and it's hard to believe that our division previews begin tonight. Over the next 8 weeks, we will go division by division, one division per week, and at the end, it will be the week of Jaguar training camp. Again, hard to believe that's the case. As we do every year, it seems, we kick it off in the AFC East with my buddy Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio and the Bills Radio Network. He's kind of become our leadoff hitter when it comes to our division previews, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Sal, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. It's fitting. I was always a center fielder leadoff hitter in baseball, so it fits, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, man, I think this is the third year we've done this, and I think you've become the honorary guy now. Year 3 for you in the leadoff spot.
Love it.
Sal, interesting offseason for Buffalo, man. Obviously, we'll talk about Mitch Morse and Gabe Davis, but so many more losses, including Stephon Diggs, Jordan Poyer, go on down the line. I bet it's a much different feeling around Bills OTAs this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a year of transition. Transition doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't make them worse necessarily. They might be, but the Bills are already kind of starting the next iteration of what they need to be with Josh Allen in his prime. And they had some players who were getting older, some players who were making more money, and They had to figure out how to manage the salary cap over the next few years, so some tough decisions had to be made. And really, the biggest thing is with all of those changes you just made, that's a lot of leadership walking out the door. The core players, a lot of them for the last 7 years, has been such a good run. The second winningest organization in the NFL over the last 5 years, behind only Kansas City. No, they haven't hoisted a Lombardi, and that's been a disappointment. But that group has been a part of a lot of success here in Buffalo, and now there's time for a new core leadership to take over.
You and I haven't spoken since Stephon Diggs was traded to Houston. By the way, thank you for that. The Texans didn't have enough firepower already. They get Stephon Diggs in town. What was the situation there? Why didn't it work out for him in Buffalo?
I think it depends on who you talk to, and everybody has their own theories. Stephon will tell you that, he loved being a Buffalo Bill. He loves Josh Allen, and Josh Allen will tell you he loves Stephon Diggs. And, but somewhere there's a disconnect. And, it really never seemed like it was working as it should over the last year and a half or so, going back to last offseason. But nobody ever spoke ill will of each other. Look, he is getting older. He's a 31-year-old receiver he's going to be this year. He had a major cap hit coming up. Last year, towards the end of the year, his production declined, his usage by the Bills declined, and that's always a chicken and egg. Was it because he was, or the transition to a new offensive coordinator, how they were using him? Brandon Beane basically said it. They were going to have to rip the Band-Aid off at some point, basically, to use my words, not his. But Brandon Beane basically said they knew that they were going to have some sort of cap hit now or next year, whenever this was going to happen, considering the way his contract was structured. So they decided to eat it all at once. And honestly, Ryan, if you waited another year, you're not getting a second-round pick for Stephon Diggs, right? So they got the best they could for him now, a second-round pick, which is a nice pick. It's actually the Vikings pick. So, if the Vikings are not good this year, the Bills will have a very high second-round pick for Stephon Diggs with some other things that they went back and forth with that. So that's why they decided to do it now.
Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio, and the Buffalo Bills Radio Network as our AFC East preview kicks off tonight talking about Buffalo. Sal, the offseason, obviously, a lot of guys left, a lot of guys came in, but the thought overwhelmingly to me and what I've talked about with people around the league when it comes to the Bills is, look, probably not a rebuild when you got Josh Allen at quarterback.
Right.
It's going to be hard to say anything's a rebuild when you got 17 back there. Is that the mindset that the Bills fans have coming into 2024?
100%. I mean, listen, Bills fans, I would say I think the organization at least has that mindset. Yeah, it's a transition, but as long as we have 17, we can withstand a transition. Look, the Chiefs went through this last year. Now, I'm not comparing the Bills to the Chiefs because the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. That'd be irresponsible of me. But I will say, at this time last year, weren't we asking the same questions? Look at their wide receiver core. They had nobody to throw to. All they did was rely on some younger players and then go to the Super Bowl and win it. And, of course, that'd be the dream scenario for the Bills here. But I think the organization feels they're still in a good spot. As far as fans are concerned, I mean, there's always going to be some fans who will tell you, "Oh my God, they're going to be worse," and I can't believe that no Stephon Diggs, where are all the weapons? And there are concerns, there's no doubt. But I think most logical fans will tell you exactly that, Ryan, which is they have Stephon Diggs, and as long as they have Josh Allen. And as long as they have Josh Allen, they're always going to be in the mix. Look, Vegas doesn't build these big, elaborate, incredible casinos because they lose a lot, and they're still the favorites to win the AFC East, and they're still one of the 4 or 5 or maybe 6 at worst favorites to win the Super Bowl.
A couple of guys that are going to be asked to replace Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. One we know very well is Keon Coleman out of Florida State. The Bills took him with the 33rd pick in the NFL draft. How has Keon Coleman looked his first month there in Buffalo?
Looks like he fits right in, right? I mean, there's nothing spectacular and nothing worrisome. And I say that because, look, they're in shorts right now or shells and whatever you want to call it. He just looks like he's an NFL wide receiver fitting in with the rest of the NFL wide receivers. I mean, he stands out because of his height a little bit. He's not super tall, but he's taller. He's a little bit more lanky. But I think the biggest thing for him is his personality and the way that he stands out there. You saw the viral press conference when he was introduced. Such a character, you know that from being down there in Florida with him at Florida State. I think that's what a lot of people are gravitating to initially. But I just think that, this kid there's been so much made about him being a slower receiver and running the 40 time. I mean, the play speed is very fast, actually. He actually was very high when it comes to the gauntlet drill and the miles per hour run. It might not be straight line speed, but his play speed and being able at that size to control his body and play like that is something that really attracted the Bills. He brings a different element to an offense, the offense they did not have over the last several years. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how all of this works out. And of course, not just him, but there's a lot of changes at wide receiver with Diggs gone and with Davis gone, bringing in Curtis Samuel. The Bills are really building this offense, Ryan. I believe what they're trying to do is they're building an offense where they have a lot of guys who can do a lot of different things. So a defensive coordinator can't game plan on Monday and Tuesday for the upcoming week and saying, all right, we know this guy is here, this guy is there. The Bills can kind of line up anywhere with a lot of these guys who can do multiple things.
A couple of more for Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio, and the Bills Radio Network as our AFC East preview kicks off with the Buffalo Bills. You mentioned the other receivers that were added in. Keon Coleman is obviously the one we've navigated to because of the local ties here, but Curtis Samuel, what else have they done to surround Josh Allen with in 2024?
Well, look, I think a big year is coming for Dalton Kincaid in year number 2, right? I mean, it wasn't an addition. It was last year's first-round pick. But I think this guy is going to be someone's going to eat a ton of targets and get a lot of balls thrown his way. I think Dawson Knox coming back from injury that he had missed a few games last year. He's going to be in that mix. They're going to throw the ball to James Cook out of the backfield. He's going to be a guy they're going to rely on a lot. But at wide receiver, they still have Curtis Samuel. They signed Curtis Samuel, They still have Khalil Shakir, who really came down. And Stephon Diggs' drop in production coincided with Khalil Shakir's rise in production last year in the way that they used him. From there are a lot of questions, but they have guys who put some time in and they threw some darts, and we'll see if any of them hit. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, one of the top playoff performers over the last few years for the Kansas City Chiefs, signed. He was just recently, signed on. Comes now, he's a part of the team now and working out at OTAs. Chase Claypool hasn't worked out in a few years, but it's a guy that had 800 yards his rookie year with Ben Roethlisberger throwing to him, and since then he hasn't had a great QB situation. And now we'll see and look, it's been his own fault for why he hasn't been able to hit in the league, but now we'll see. Andy Isabella, former second-round pick. KJ Hamler, a former second-round pick. They need one of these guys, just one of them, to really hit the way they want. Now, could it happen? It doesn't have to happen, but if it does, then they could be a real interesting receiving core given the other things that they brought in and the weapons surrounding Josh.
Of course, the Jaguars will see Buffalo early in the year, Monday Night Football up there in Buffalo. That'll be quite the scene as Gabe Davis and Mitch Morse return to Buffalo. I know we had you on, Sal, a couple of months ago when those signings took place, but for our audience that missed that conversation, just a quick thought from you. You're as close to that organization as anybody on what the Jaguars got with both Gabe Davis and Mitch Morse.
Two really, really high-quality human beings and obviously very good football players. I actually got to know Mitch and Gabe very, very well over the last few years, and it's sad to see them go as part of our community here in Buffalo. And as you know, up here, Buffalo, we take a lot of pride in that. It's not just about football. It's really a way of life up here and the way that these players ingrained into our community and what they do. Gabe is just a tireless worker. He really is, and he has his draft academy down there near Orlando where him and his trainer, they opened up a spot where they work with high school and college athletes and pro athletes and getting them ready for the NFL and the combine. And he's really invested. He's invested his own, time to be able to do that and to be a better football player. And then Mitch Morse, the community involvement, him and his family, the way that they really accepted Buffalo and became a part of the community. But on the field, I mean, what can you say about Mitch Morse being really the center for Josh Allen and before that Patrick Mahomes for a year, right? I mean, in a way that they were able to kind of navigate the offense together. And, he had some concussions, and that's been an issue, but not the last couple of years. I think last year was concussion-free and injury-free, Mitch Morse. And, you hope that those don't pop up, but that was an issue earlier on. But, Mitch is as far as a football player, he struggles a little bit with guys who are bigger and can anchor, but he's a real good, he's a real athletic center. He can get out, he can pull, he can do a lot of things. He's very cerebral, obviously. And then Gabe, the knock on him has been the inconsistencies, and there have been there. Some of the drops, you don't want to see that, but he's a guy that can get down the field, and he's going to be able to. He's an incredible blocker, and he's going to help out a lot in the run game as well. So they can do some things with him there, and I'm really interested to see that. How the Jaguars deploy Gabe Davis.
The Jaguars are easing him back into OTAs. Sal, what was his injury last year, and when did it happen?
You're talking about Gabe Davis?
Gabe Davis,
yeah. At the end of the year, man, I have to remember now exactly what he did at the end of the year. He did get hurt in the Miami game, and then he didn't play. I think it was his knee. Oh yeah, it was his knee. I think the outside of his knee, maybe wasn't like a ACL, but it was a knee injury that forced him to miss those two playoff games, and they really missed him against, in both those games, especially against Kansas City. They were really kind of depleted. So it was a knee injury, but again, Gabe is very in tune with his body, the way he works out, the way he trains, the way that he recovers. So I wouldn't have much concern about him being able to do that, but it was a knee injury last year that cost him some time at the end.
Yeah, he's doing some individual work at OTAs, not really doing much team stuff, according to Doug Peterson, at least yet. Final moment, Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio in Buffalo. All right, Sal, for the last few years, Buffalo clearly the favorite coming in, and as you mentioned, Vegas has them as the favorite again, but this division is so interesting. We don't really know about Aaron Rodgers in New York. Miami, we think they're going to be good, but they got some injury problems still from last year on the defensive side of the ball. It appears to be a rebuild in New England, but who really knows? I mean, what's your thought on Buffalo and the division as a whole?
Well, I think if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, and that's a big if, the Jets can be really dangerous. But I do wonder about that offensive line holding up. And independent of Rodgers staying healthy, I just don't know if it's a good enough offensive line overall to be able to sustain, playing the rigors of a 17-game season and getting them to where they want to go. We know how much talent they have on defense, but that's the key there, Aaron Rodgers staying healthy. Obviously, I do think they could be a playoff team and maybe even contend for the division. The Bills are the best team in the division. They have the best quarterback in the division. I still think they have the best overall roster in the division, even though we could debate, where that roster necessarily is after last year and some of the changes that were made. I think Miami's going to drop off a little bit. We saw teams really catch up to their offense last year. The Bills kind of put out the blueprint after week 4 when they shut them down. And early in the game, Miami had some success. After that, they did nothing. And then they really did not have the same offense later. Now, granted, they did have a couple big games like Denver and a couple others, but they really didn't have the same offense. And now you're talking about a defense that really got they had a lot of changes and guys leave through free agency and then injuries with Chubb and Jalen Phillips who are still trying to come back. They have a defensive coordinator change. I just think Miami's in a transition year. Now they're going to have to pay Tua, and that's going to cost them even more. That might have been their window. We'll see. I think Miami might have, maybe missed that one window where they really tried hard and shot their shot basically the last couple of years. And then New England is definitely in a transition year and a rebuild year. I actually like what New England's doing overall, big picture, Ryan. I think New England is at least doing it the right way now, but I think they're at least 1 year, maybe 2 years away from maybe even being in the wild card playoff conversation.
Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio and the Bills Radio Network. Of course, the Jaguars will travel to Buffalo Monday Night Football early in the season. Sal, always enjoy it. I know you're very busy this time of year. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Anytime, brother. Always good to be on with you, and I'm sure we're going to catch up before the Bills play the Jags.
Wait, what are these numbers right here for?
It's
1010XL.
Let's count to 10, all right?
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. Mad Dad's is asking for good, committed men who want to be part of an organization that has been around for 17 years. We are a group that is part of the solution, not the problem. We are a group that don't stand around murmuring and complaining, but get into action and hit the streets to get the community to break the code of silence to remove the murderers off our streets. We do not require a lot of time, just willing and able bodies to get involved. We've had far too many murders this year already not to get involved. If you want to be part of this great organization, call 904-718-1649. We're looking for men, not men acting like boys. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. For information about Mad Dad, go to Mad Dad's Jacksonville Chapter Facebook or MadDadJacksonville.com.
The 2024 season schedule is here, and so are single-game tickets. Don't miss your favorite matchups, and be at the bank when the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL.
To the end zone, touchdown!
Don't miss a moment of the action during our exciting 30th season, and grab your single-game tickets today. Lock in seats for your favorite matchup now by going to Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. 2000.
the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain, prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. 9 o'clock hour has arrived. Glad you're with us. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, former Jaguar defensive back Demetrius McCray will stop by. He's got a defensive back clinic that he's putting on beginning this Saturday for the course of the next 8 weeks or so. We'll talk about that, but we'll certainly get Demetrius' thoughts as a former Jaguar draft pick on the roster, on the offseason haul, and everything that goes with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, Brent Beard. You see him on First Coast News. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark as the first preseason college football magazines are out. And we'll get Brent Beard up here in less than a half an hour. A lot of news in the National Football League. Brandon McManus has found himself in some hot water. Allegedly. Again, that's a key word, right? We don't seem to use that word enough. Allegedly. These are alleged situations. Being accused by two, airline stewardesses, two airline workers, of not behaving properly, let's just say, on the flight for the Jaguars over to London. Doug Peterson was asked about it earlier today. He said it was disappointing to read, but he really couldn't comment on it because it's a legal matter. Of course, Brandon McManus only spent 1 year here in Jacksonville and then went to the Washington Commanders. So the Commanders got to monitor this situation. Whenever alleged charges like this imply anything of sexual misconduct, harassment, whatever you want to call it, it's not good. But again, alleged charges. So we'll see what happens. But and Brandon McManus' lawyer, by the way, has come out and vehemently denied these charges. So we'll have to let the legal process play out. You just wonder if the Washington Commanders will let the legal process play out. We'll have to see what happens. But, boy, the Jaguars kicking situation, good grief. This situation with Brandon McManus last year, you had the Josh Lambo, Urban Meyer kicking situation. Let's just hope that Cam Little from the University of Arkansas can bring some stability to the Jaguar kicking game. Do you believe the rumors, Denmark, that Minnesota was looking to trade up to take Malik Neighbors in the draft, and if they did, they would have been fine trading away Justin Jefferson?
I lean no.
I lean no, too, but that was the rumor, and it kind of caught me off guard when I read it. And I get why the thought would be, because you don't want to pay Jefferson and you get Neighbors on a rookie deal. But Justin Jefferson's still the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah, it's true. But having to trade into that top 10, like same with Balky, like they were being asked to be traded to the top 10, and you had to give up a lot to get into that top 10. That's why you saw no trades. But after the top 10, you saw a lot of trades after that.
Yeah, you did. But anyway, that is the rumor out there that Minnesota would have been, quote, fine with trading Justin Jefferson because they tried to get up to take Malik Neighbors. Believe that if you want. There's also reports out that Minnesota is thrilled with J.J. McCarthy so far at OTAs. It is rumor season. Remember, May, June, and July is the season of hope and optimism. Reality strikes you in the face come September. How about Cincinnati OTAs? Joe Burrow back from the wrist injury last year, but his two top wide receivers are not there. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, both looking for new contracts. Both are not at Bengals OTAs. Zach Taylor, the head coach of Cincinnati, is downplaying their absence. What else is he going to do? And maybe it's nothing, but when your two top guys are both not there, that's certainly a conversation piece in late May and early June. We'll see what happens with Cincinnati and both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Remember, Tyler Boyd is gone. Remember, Joe Mixon is gone. So there will be a lot of newness on that Cincinnati offense. Nico Collins gets paid today in Houston. A 3-year contract extension, $72 million. Let me do my Wolfson High School math on that. That's $24 million per year for a very, very good wide receiver in Houston. Remember Nico Collins along with Stephon Diggs, along with Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce. Texans got some talent, man. There is absolutely no question about that. And they have a very happy wide receiver tonight, Nico Collins. 3 years, $72 million. More NFL coming up. Former Jaguar defensive back Demetrius McCray will join us coming up in less than 10 minutes. NHL and NBA playoffs tonight. Boy, if you're an NBA fan, if you have no dog in the fight, you probably want to root for Minnesota tonight. The Timberwolves are up 7 at the end of the first quarter over Dallas. But do you realize if Dallas wins tonight, they will sweep Minnesota? Boston has already swept Indiana. And the NBA Finals will be set, right? It'll be Dallas and Boston. But it won't happen for 9 days. Game 1 is next Thursday, June the 6th. So a Dallas win tonight would make a 9-day gap for the NBA playoffs. As a guy that loves the association, and I don't really care who wins this series, I'm rooting for Minnesota to win tonight just because I don't want to go 9 days without any NBA in my life. Timberwolves up 10, 30-20, looking to avoid elimination. I wonder when the last time both conference finals ended in sweeps was. And has anybody ever had an easier path to the NBA Finals than the Boston Celtics? They got Miami without Jimmy Butler. They played Cleveland a couple of games without Donovan Mitchell. And they played Indiana a couple of games without Tyrese Halliburton. Now, Boston, I think, would have won those series regardless, but they have had a cakewalk to the NBA Finals. In fact, they're 12-2 in the postseason this year. Dallas will probably not be that easy. Luka and Kyrie Irving are playing their tails off. And remember, people in Boston hate Kyrie Irving. So there's all sorts of juicy storylines that could materialize out of that. Also, NHL playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals. Rangers lead the series 2-1. They're up 1-0 on Florida. First intermission down in Sunrise. Rangers looking to take a commanding 3-1 lead in the series. Florida has to be frustrated. Look, I don't know much about hockey, but in watching those games, Florida outplayed New York in both Game 2 and Game 3. Lost both of them. And now they find themselves trailing here and about to go down 3-1 unless they make a comeback. Rangers haven't won a cup in 30 years, right? Since Mark Messier in 1994. That would be some scene at Madison Square Garden if they get back into the Stanley Cup Finals. Again, Brent Beard talking college football, talking University of Florida, by the way, in the Softball World Series in Oklahoma City. Congrats to head coach Tim Walton and the Lady Gators. Their bubble did not burst. They're in the baseball tournament, heading to Stillwater as a 3 seed. Basketball gets Walter Clayton and Will Richard back. And football ended very well in the portal. However, did you see the first preseason magazine? Lindy's hit the newsstand. Denmark, you see where they had Florida out of the 16 SEC teams?
Did not.
Take a guess.
12.
13.
Yeah, I was going to say 13.
They had Florida 13th out of the 16 SEC teams. Gator fans, get used to that. These preseason magazines are not going to show you a lot of love. Brent Beard comes up in less than 25 minutes. Coming up next, former Jaguar defensive back Demetrius McRae. 7th-round pick of the Jaguars back in 2013. He's got a defensive backs clinic he's going to put on beginning this Saturday. We'll tell you about that. It's over in the Bay Meadows area. We'll also get Demetrius' thoughts on the Jaguar offseason, on the new additions at corner, and how he sees this season taking shape. That comes up next. Hacker After Dark on a Tuesday night here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
You're in the pole position with 1010XL. Green flag.
Sunday at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, an avocado consultant from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Dave Ortega. Okay, Dave, here's your question. Your house is not bad in the morning, but by the afternoon, your AC can barely keep up, even with the curtains closed. What do you do?
Oh, can I buy a valve?
Not that kind of show, Dave.
Can I spin the wheel?
Yeah, we don't even have a wheel, Dave.
Can I phone a friend? Oh, can I call Bueller?
That's right, Dave. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing to assess your home's airflow and sunlight patterns and let us optimize your air conditioning so that you are cool.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Well, you gotta get out more, Dave.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Get ready to swing into the hottest party this summer. Join First Tee North Florida at the Yard June 13th for the Summer Soiree. We're bringing the spirit of the Pacific Islands to Ponte Vedra with a Hawaiian luau-themed event. Enjoy family-friendly fun, including Hawaiian food trucks, live music, craft cocktails, golf games, raffle prizes, and more. The First Tee Summer Soiree provides the perfect blend of golf, party, and philanthropy. All proceeds benefit the impactful programs of the First Tee. Visit firstteenorthflorida.org/summer soiree to secure your tickets today.
Hold on tight because All Pro Roofing is unleashing some electrifying news. Brace yourselves for instant excitement. Instant roof quotes are here. Simply surf over to their website and hit the Instant Roof Quote tab. Boom! That's your ticket to a lightning-fast estimate. Head over to allproroofingllc.com. Click that Instant Roof Quote tab. What are you waiting for? Click on the Instant Roof Quote tab today at allproroofingllc.com.
License number CCC 1327056.
CDC 060138.
New faces on the field for the first time in team.
There are no shortcuts, man.
OTA coverage is brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Up, quick feet, quick feet, quick feet!
on 1010XL.
Hacker here with an update. I'm now down 65 pounds in less than 3 months with Awaken 180. It's been incredible. You've seen it on social media. If not, take a look. I'm the guy with 65 less pounds around his midsection. Since I started, I had to get lower dose medication for both blood pressure and cholesterol. That meant a trip to the pharmacy. When I walked in, the pharmacist did a double take, the same way my doctor did. Didn't even recognize me. It's a pretty cool feeling, knowing I'm transforming into the new me. If I can do Awaken 180 and succeed, trust me, so can you. Imagine dropping pounds while still enjoying your favorite foods. With Awaken 180, you get to lose weight without giving up what you love. Are you ready to make the call to Awaken 180? Call right now, 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Or do what I did and check them out at awaken180weightloss.com. Start changing your life today with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Danny Dreamfinders. For a limited time, on select move-in ready homes, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 3.99% interest rate in year one of your mortgage. Now is your chance to lock down the rate. You heard me right. 3.99% offer in year one. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Jaguar OTAs again this week, OTAs next week, and then believe it or not, veteran minicamp before the Jaguars take about 6 weeks off, and then training camp in late July at the end of July. We'll talk with Demetrius McCray, former Jaguar defensive back. He's still local. He's got a DB clinic coming up that we'll tell you about. And we want to get Demetrius' thoughts on the Jaguar offseason to this point. Demetrius, how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Hey, Demetrius, we're good. Yeah, man, thank you for the time, as always. And I want to talk about your DB clinic, but let's just talk about you. Former Jaguar, then you went on to a couple other NFL teams. You're now back here in Jacksonville, and you're coaching DBs, something you know very, very well.
Yeah. So I decided to put on the defensive back coaching clinic. And so I just want to spread my knowledge to some of the local talent that we have out here. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. So this is going to be the first of many years of this coaching clinic to be put on here in Jacksonville. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what the turnout is. And it's going to be a lot of good work put in. And so, I'm just overall excited just to see how it turns out and, how it can go from here.
And for people that want more information, Demetrius, it's going to be an 8-week clinic, I believe 2 days per week. I want to say, Monday and Saturday, if I remember correctly, over on Bay Meadows Road. How can people learn more about it? How can they get involved if they want to check it out?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. So it's going to be 8 weeks from June 3rd to July 27th, every Monday and Saturday. Mondays at 5 p.m., Saturdays at 9 a.m. We'll be at Fort Family Park on Bay Meadows Road. You can check out my socials. Check out me on Instagram. Check out me on Facebook. I have it posted there. I have a link where you can sign up. It tells you all the details and information needed.
Demetrius McCray, former Jaguar DB, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. We'll remind people about the DB clinic coming up in just a bit. All right, Demetrius, let's dive into your former club here, man. What an off season it was. Let's go back to the very end of last season. Losing 5 out of 6 had to leave an awful taste in the mouths of those players. Is that still fresh in their mind? Here we are almost 4.5, 5 months later. Do they still... are they still seething about the way last year ended, or do you think most of them have turned the page at this point?
I think it still seeps in their mind. Every year is a new year, so you always want to look forward to the new year. But I know just the competitive edge, they have that in the back of their mind. They don't want that. They don't want that to happen again, right? And so I think a lot of them are keeping uh, that 5 out of 6 losses in the back of their mind. But they also want to move forward to this next year and see what that presents. And I know that they're working hard to, make sure that doesn't happen again.
They got to change at defensive coordinator. Mike Caldwell out, Ryan Nielsen in. Boy, the defense was, quite frankly, not very good towards the end of last year, particularly in the secondary. What was your thought on the change at D coordinator?
I think it'd be a good change, right? I think it'd be a good change. I think a lot of people are going to embrace the new DC, I think it'd be a really good change for the team. And he's going to put guys in positions to make plays, and I'm excited to see those plays being made this year.
Former Jaguar defensive back Demetrius McCray here with us on 1010XL. All right, Demetrius, let's talk about your position, the DB position. Obviously, a lot of change. Darius Williams gone at corner. Rayshawn Jenkins gone at safety. It looks like Trey Herndon won't be back. A lot of new guys have come in. Let's talk about some of those guys. Ronald Darby, Darnell Savage. What's your thoughts on the veterans the Jaguars added this offseason?
Yeah, I think the added veterans are going to be great. Darby, he had a lot of productive years in the league. Savage as well. I remember watching Savage and Darby. Darby coming out of Florida State. So I remember watching both of them. And then Savage when he was in Green Bay as well. So I think that's a really tremendous add, especially for the rookies that we brought in as well, just so they can learn from veteran guys, and it's going to be exciting. Like I said, that DB room is going to be exciting this year, and it's going to be energized, and I can't wait to see those plays that's being made.
You mentioned a couple of those rookies, Jerry Jones from Florida State, DeAndre Prince from Ole Miss. You lived this life back in 2013. You were drafted. You came right into rookie minicamp, right into OTAs. I mean, it's a whirlwind, right? What are Jones and Prince kind of going through right now, leading up to the draft process, getting drafted, and then bam, here we are a month later, and they're right smack dab in the middle of OTAs?
Yeah, there's a lot of changes being made on their end, right? So the number one change, they have to learn the playbook. They got to learn the playbook inside and out, and I think that's what their main focus is. Going into training camp, you gotta know that playbook. You got to put yourself in those positions to make plays and not make those mental errors. And I think that they're on that path to do it. I met with them at the rookie dinner about 2 weeks ago, and those are some competitive guys. They competitive just from the conversations that I had. And I have no doubt that they're going to be ready for training camp and then also the season.
Couple of more for former Jaguar defensive back Demetrius McCray. Demetrius, there's a lot of Jaguar fans listening right now that think the Jaguars need to add a veteran corner. Whether you go explore a trade. I know Xavier Howard, Stephon Gilmore, Steven Nelson are the three veterans that are out there. I mean, when you look at the corner room, Tyson Campbell is obviously your one. I guess we believe Darby is your two as of right now. And then whether it's Darnell Savage, Antonio Johnson, Jarian Jones, you mentioned DeAndre Prince, some of the other guys like Greg Jr., Monteric Brown. Do you feel they have enough at corner to go into the year as is, or would you like to see them maybe add a veteran in late free agency?
Yeah, I think they have enough. I think they have enough. Tyson Campbell, he's put in a lot of productive years. With the Jags, and then like you said, Darby, he's been really good in his years, and then we got some young guys there too that's ready to make plays, and so that's what we need. We need those them to be energized. We need them to bring that energy that they had in college, and so adding a veteran guy never hurts. Never hurts, because we need that. You're going to want that experience. You're going to want that veteran leadership inside of the DB room. But as of right now, I think they have what they need to be successful in that room.
A couple of more for former Jaguar DB Demetrius McCray. Demetrius, cornerback's best friend is a good pass rush. Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker. I'm not sure what they have after that. Eric Armstead on the D-line. I mean, what do you think of the Jaguar front four, particularly the guys affecting the quarterback, and do you think they have enough there?
Yeah, so Josh Allen, I'm glad that we kept him. I'm glad that we kept Josh Allen. Trayvon Walker, he's going to come into his own. I'm expecting a breakout season this year from him. And so having those two edge pressure, in addition to the rookie Mason Smith, I was excited that we got him from LSU. And so I think he's going to, have a big season as well. So, I'm just excited to see that, that D-line room excel as well. I think it's going to be a good year for overall defense, with the new scheme and just some of those key additions that they added this year. I think it's going to be a good year defensively for the Jags.
Demetrius, as we begin to wrap up offensively, everybody's excited about Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, the new additions at wide receiver. You've covered some great receivers in your day during your NFL career. What do you think about the weapons now that Trevor Lawrence has? Certainly a much different-looking wide receiver room than what they had a year ago. No Calvin Ridley, no Zay Jones, but you add Devin Duvernay, you add Gabe Davis, you add Brian Thomas to go with Christian Kirk, to go with Evan Ingram. What do you think about the skill position on offense?
Yeah, it's a lot of skill players in there. So like you said, Gabe Davis, you have Christian Kirk, you added Brian Thomas, who I'm excited for as well. It's going to be a lot of plays being made. Trevor, he has a lot of the weapons needed, to be successful. And always Travis Etienne. So I think this is a breakout year for a lot of people this year. You have what you need. You have what you need to be successful this year. And so I think the city is excited. I know I'm excited. I've been living here ever since I got drafted here. And so, I'm always going to be a fan. I'm always going to be looking. And so, I'm just excited to see the team.
All right, Demetrius, as we say goodbye, let's remind them your DB clinic begins June 3rd over on Bay Meadows Road. Tell them about it. Tell them if they want to get involved, where they can go, and what they can expect when they get there.
Yeah, so I'm going to be hosting a defensive back coaching clinic. It's going to be an 8-week program. Just going learning the defensive back position, whether that's corner, whether that's safety, giving you tips and tricks to the position. We're going to be hosting it every Monday at 5 p.m., Saturdays at 9 a.m. at Fort Family Park. You can find me on socials. You can find me on Facebook, Demetrius McCray. You can find me on Instagram, McCray DC. I'm going to be posting it there in addition to the link that you can sign up and secure your spot. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun program. I'm going to do it for years to come. This is my first annual one. So, I'm just excited for that to happen and see how many guys we can get out there.
Former Jaguar defensive back Demetrius McCray. Demetrius, enjoyed the conversation, man. Best of luck with your DB clinic, and we'll do this again soon. Maybe before the year, we'll preview the Jaguars in 2024. Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Ryan.
Dan Hicken.
Intuitive improvisation. It's the secret of genius.
Jeff Prosser.
I don't know karate, but I know crazy, and I will use it.
They are the drill.
And I see the clowns playing their parts to perfection.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
If you have had problems selling your home or haven't even bothered selling because of the problems that you would expect, here's a promise for you. Chad and Sandy of chadandsandy.com guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Simple as that, right? So if maybe you are worried about selling for less money, or maybe you want maximum equity from your home but not sure how, they have the answers, the solutions, the promises to take care of all that. Take it from Debbie in Orange Park. I was going through a divorce and needed to be close to family quickly. I was going to sell my home to an instant offer investor for $375, but I heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and decided to call. Thank goodness. Chad and Sandy got me $45,000 more in just 3 days. Call the only agents we're trusting and recommending. Call Chad and Sandy at chadandsandy.com. The number is 904-414-6200, or you can go to chadandsandy.com. That's chadandsandy.com.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing Scalp Micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com today.
It's soccer around the world, and here at home on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour, Monday evenings on 10:10 a.m. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk, Mondays at 6 on 1010XL.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Attention veterans, if you have a VA loan, you need to listen to this, especially if your current rate is higher than 6.5%. Now is the time to take advantage of the federal government's VA Streamlined Refinance Program. With my friends at Loan Pronto, you can. Go to loanpronto.com. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto has fixed rate APRs in the 5s. You can drop your rate now. Lower your payment with no income documentation and no appraisal. Do it at loanpronto.com. Their all-digital platform makes it easy. They can even cover your closing costs. If you need cash now, Loan Pronto can get you up to 100% of your home value. You can pay off all your credit cards or other debt and save as much as $1,000 a month. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508 or get a 30-second rate quote at loanpronto.com. Ask about streamlined VA loans, no income doc, and no appraisal. Loan Pronto, 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Honey!
Septic alert, septic alert. Time for a spring septic clean? Contact Duck Duck Rooter today. Just $5.25 to keep your septic alive. For just $525, Duck Duck Rooter will pump out your septic tank, clean your outlet filter, plus send a plumber to your home to provide drain cleaning to your main sewer line. Call now to book 904-862-6769. DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to Cam Locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide, cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays, and new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sports book. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using promo code 1010XL when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, there's a lot going on. The first preseason magazines are out. Boy, I don't think Gator fans are going to like what they saw from Lindy's, but they better get used to it because a lot of these preseason publications certainly do not have a lot of expectations for the Florida Gators. Although Florida did get some very good news on the basketball court, they also got some good news on the baseball diamond as their bubble did not burst, and they are in the NCAA tournament. With all that being said, let me welcome in my friend Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Well, doing well, thank you. Glad that you guys had a good vacation and were able to enjoy that as we near June. As you said, that Lindy's is out. Athlon will be on the way. Phil Steele is still coming around the 4th of July. SEC meetings in Destin. It really has been one of the busiest months of May that I can ever remember.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And Lindy's was a lot nicer to Florida State than they were to Florida, and we'll get to that in a moment. But, Brent, we got to start with a friend that both of us lost last week. I was in the middle of the Caribbean, and a guy came up to me from Jacksonville and told me the news, and you can just imagine my reaction. I've given my thoughts a lot tonight on the passing of David Lamb, as I lovingly call him Lamb Chops. The man taught me so much, both on air and off air. Lamb at Large on 930 Wins back in the day, man. That's what I listened to with he and my good buddy Joe Cowart. And we lost David at the age of 78 last Friday. And I know you knew David very, very well as well.
Yeah, I was very grieved at David's passing. David was such a unique individual that was so talented. He was a good writer. He did well on television. I really appreciated Chase Goodbread's article in the Times-Union. He talked about Blabbermouth, who was David's alter ego on television. A lot of people forgot that David and Mike Bianchi and they had various guys who came in and out were regulars on the Sunshine Network. I believe it was on Monday night when they talked about a lot of sports. David would often have a unlit cigar in his mouth. That was kind of his trademark. But David helped a lot of people who were coming up, particularly in the business. He would certainly give some tips on how to do things, but he was always a lot of fun. He was very jovial, gregarious, bigger than life personality in so many ways. So I'm just sad that he wasn't in real good health over the last few years of his life. And it really missed talking to him and seeing him because he just frankly wasn't available for one reason or another. But suffice to say, someone that we will always remember and appreciate and learn from. and our prayers and thoughts certainly go out to his family.
There's no doubt about that. And David Lamb, say what you will about him, people sometimes disagreed with his opinions. The man had a heart of gold. The Santa Lamb thing that he did for decades and helping children here in Northeast Florida have a Christmas that otherwise probably wouldn't have had a Christmas. Everything that he did in that regard, Uncle Dave, that laugh that he had. You mentioned the unlit cigar. He was a character, man. There's no doubt about it. But he was a good dude, and I will certainly miss David Lamb, as we lovingly call him, Lamb Chops here on Hacker After Dark. Well, there's really no easy transition from that, but David would certainly want us to continue the sports talk, Brent, and that is certainly what we will do. And I imagine it was a very happy day for you in the month of May when Lindy's came out. I know, knowing you for 2+ decades, that's Christmas in May for Mr. Brent Beard when the sports magazines come out. And not a lot of love for the Gators, Brent. Lindy's had Florida 13th in the SEC in their publication.
Yeah, and they've got him 37th overall. I hope Florida uses that as motivation. I mean, that's really something they need to plaster on the wall in the football building and on the practice field to let people know how the Lindy's will be, and that will be very similar to what we see in these other magazines with Athlon and Phil Steele, and when the first top 25 start to come out. So, but no, there really isn't much love for them. Now, Lindy's SEC picks: Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Missouri. That's the top 5. LSU, Tennessee, Oklahoma, A&M, and Auburn. That rounds out the top 10. And then you've got Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt that take up the rest of the conference. That's what we've got for now. There'll be more expansion coming down the line. It will be a lot of expansion, but there's still going to be some too. But that's kind of where they are. And they're looking for a lot more improvement than what we have seen. But I think what you and I have talked about over the last few months, that there's no real surprise they're ranked that low.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Of their preseason top 25 and Lindy's, 8 of the 25 are on Florida's schedule, including Ole Miss, Brent. You mentioned Lindy's had Ole Miss 3rd, just behind Georgia and Texas, but ahead of Alabama, ahead of LSU. Do you buy the Ole Miss hype coming into the year?
Yeah, I do. And I do for this reason. See, Ole Miss can get in the playoffs in a 12 team playoff. They can't get in a 4. But I do believe they can get into a 12. As a matter of fact, I won't be at all surprised if the SEC has like 4 teams in the playoffs. Jackson Dart comes back. Trey Wallace at wide receiver. What they've really improved is their defensive line and getting guys like Walter Nolan to come in with them. He's from A&M. That has made a difference. They also got Jacksonville State All-Conference USA defensive lineman Chris Hardy. And to his credit, Lane Kiffin has figured out this is the route he needs to go. He's got to get some SEC caliber defensive linemen, and that's what he's done. You know they'll be good offensively. And if they can be better in Pete Golding's second year with them as D coordinator, coming from Alabama, yes, I do think that they can make the playoffs.
Yeah, they arguably got Florida's best defensive lineman from last year, too. Prince Manmy-Ellen's out there as well. So Ole Miss did very, very good in the transfer portal. Quickly, Brent, you and I didn't talk about this last week as I was on vacation, but Florida very quietly kind of cleaned up in the portal at the very end, right? They got that 5-star offensive lineman from USC Kermani McClain from Colorado. Boy, that was an interesting situation. And then one of the big wide receiver targets out there from Arizona State. We know how successful Florida was the last Sun Devil that came in, and Ricky Pearsall. So I thought Billy Napier closed the portal very, very well.
And he deserves credit for that. And they've got a new coach, we understand, coming from Bowling Green. He's a cornerbacks coach, Baya Rasul. Forgive me if I mispronounce his name, but that will certainly help them. But they, no doubt that they did, and they got guys that met needs that they really needed on the offensive line and wide receiver, on the defensive line. It's like recruiting. If you meet your needs, that's all you really needed to do, and that's important. So, and because of this, hopefully what they have done, this will be a better football team. Look, I think they're fine at quarterback. They're really good at running back. If they can solidify this line of scrimmage, my Stars is going to be better than last year. And the defense certainly has made some improvement. I mean, despite the schedule, I mean, this team's got a shot at winning 6 or 7 games. Boy, wouldn't that be great to have 6 wins in November with the chance to get some more.
Couple of more for Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Quickly, Brent, back to Lindy's. They did not love Florida. They picked them 13th in the conference out of 16. They do love Florida State as they picked the Noles to win the ACC.
No doubt. I've got them winning the league. Clemson second, Miami third, NC State fourth, and Louisville fifth. And Florida State in the top 25. They're number 10. So they are well thought of, and that I think that's appropriate. Still, a lot of this is on DJ Uiagalelei and what he can do at quarterback. Lawrence Toafila would be back. That is a real plus for them, too. They got Malik Benson from Alabama, Roydell Williams from Alabama, Eric Little from Alabama in the secondary. So these guys, I think, can help them. But this is a good football team. And I think I mentioned to you before you left that Mike Norvell was in town a couple of weeks ago, and we were able to talk to him. He likes his team. He's confident in this team. And once again, I mean, you win that league and you're going to be in the playoffs. And I think they will.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Quickly, they have Miami third. I think Hurricane fans would take that, no question about it. We know how important that game is on August the 31st against the Gators, but clearly Lindy's likes Miami coming into the year.
They like Miami also because Miami may have one of the better quarterbacks in the portal. Obviously, in Cam Ward, Xavier Restapro is back at wide receiver. The Rivers kid from Oakleaf is anchoring that offensive line. That's going to make a difference too. So, I mean, like Florida, they have made some moves in the portal that are really going to help them.
Again, Lindy's Georgia, they have winning the SEC. They have Florida State winning the ACC. They got Miami third. They got Florida 13th out of 16. So we'll see how those prognostications come to fruition in a couple of months. Final moments with Brent Beard. You see him on First Coast News. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, quickly, basketball for the Gators. Boy, some great news, right? Walter Clayton and Will Richard both returning to school. All of a sudden, you look at that Gator roster with the transfer portal acquisitions. My gracious. I mean, we're talking top 25, maybe a top 20 program heading into the year.
Well, that really is exciting, frankly. And look, Walter Clayton, Will Richard, the Martin kid, Alex Condon, among the guys. And look, they're 3 projected starting guards, Clayton, Richard, and Martin. were really well thought of. I'm really glad to see this. And Hank, the reality is, not everybody is born to play in the NBA, and that's not saying these guys can't go there after another year. But with NIL now, these guys need to come back to Florida. They need to improve. That Todd Golden can help them to be able to do that, and to the point where they say next year maybe they can go back and be drafted to that point. That is really exciting to see these guys to be able to do that. And you mentioned baseball a few minutes ago too. Congrats to Florida getting in. I know there are people that protested. They thought College of Charleston, Cincinnati, Cal, Xavier, Louisville, Northeastern are among the schools that they also should have gotten in. I understand the beef, but and I know you'll understand this too. Florida has the number one strength of schedule, and there's no way in the world, regardless of the sport, that they're going to leave a team out, are they, Hack, that has a number one schedule in America, because there's no way in the world that they want to hear that criticism of this committee talking about a rough schedule and a challenging schedule is important, but we're going to leave the number one teams with that schedule strength out. That's never going to happen. I don't know how far they go, but I'm glad Florida got back in.
No, I agree, and it's not as if they were a bubble team. They weren't even one of the last four in,
No,
according
you're
to
right.
the stories that came out. They were comfortably in. Finally, Brent, not an X's and O's breakdown because I couldn't do that with you anyway, but I think 11 SEC teams or something ridiculous like that got in. It's like the SEC Invitational in this 64-team field. Florida's a 3 seed in Stillwater. They have to play Nebraska on Friday. Florida State's a 1 seed in Tallahassee. They potentially are going to see Alabama there as the Crimson Tide have to go to Dick Howser Stadium. I love this weekend for college baseball. I love everything about it. I'm not the biggest college baseball fan, but when you get to this point, the 16 regionals, man, it's an awful lot of fun.
It is. There's no doubt about it. And it's going to be a lot of fun all weekend long. Double elimination. That means these teams play at least a couple of games, and I think that's important. But listen, we think the SEC is dominant in football and basketball. I don't think there's any sport like baseball that the SEC dominate. And how about this? Georgia in 1990. Now think about that. First SEC baseball team to win a national championship. My, how things have changed, because right now, heck, they're basically winning it every year.
Yeah, there's no question. Absolutely awesome baseball going on. And again, Florida, best of luck to them. They have Nebraska on Friday. Florida State has a regional there at Dick Howser Stadium. They will have, Stetson, UCF, and Alabama there in their region in the state capital. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, I missed you last week. Glad to be back with you, and we'll do it again next week, my friend. Thank you as always.
Look forward to it, pal. Take care.
And thank you to my buddy Brent Beard for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Hard to believe the first preseason college football magazines are out. But again, Gator fans, you're not going to like a lot of these prognostications. Lindy's does not think very highly of the Florida Gators coming into the year. And I would imagine Phil Steele, Athlon, the rest of them are going to be very, very similar, as Florida is going to have to surpass expectations. Again, over-under win total for the Gators, probably somewhere in the 5 to 5.5 range based on that schedule. It's all going to come down to games like Miami, games like Texas A&M, games like Kentucky and UCF. Can Florida find ways to win those games? Obviously, later in the year, the schedule gets drastically tougher, but can they find some W's before they arrive here to Jacksonville to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party? Well, that'll just about do it. What has been a very, very busy Tuesday edition of Hacker After Dark. Back from vacation, back with you guys. Glad to be back with you guys, and certainly enjoyed tonight's program. Hope you did as well. We got a lot of people to thank. Again, Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to Demetrius McCray, former Jaguar defensive back who joined us tonight. Demetrius has a defensive back clinic that he's running over the next 8 weeks on Mondays and Saturdays over in the Bay Meadows area. And if you want more information on that, just search Demetrius McCray on both X and Facebook. Thank you to Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio in Buffalo. It's hard to imagine, but here we are, our division previews. Over the next 8 weeks, we will go division by division, previewing all 32 teams leading up to the start of Jaguar training camp. This week, it's all about the AFC East. We will make stops in Miami, in New England, and with the New York Jets. But we always kick it off with my buddy Sal Capaccio in Buffalo, as we did tonight, talking the Buffalo Bills. And back in hour number 1, Devin Duvernay, the newest Jaguar kickoff return man, and maybe a weapon at the wide receiver position as well. Had a chance to talk to Devin after practice today down at the Miller Electric Center. And as always, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff for setting us up with Devin Duvernay right here on Hacker After Dark. We will be back tomorrow night on a Wednesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, glad to be back with you. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of time off during the evenings. But Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Tuesday evening, and we will do it all over again tomorrow night on a Wednesday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then,